So today I need to debunk a myth. I need to debunk a myth. Someone in one of my comments a few weeks ago basically said something about high value men not being interested in women in their 40s and 50s. And I was kind of surprised that they brought up the thing about high value men because the video that they were commenting on didn't have anything to do with that. Didn't have anything to do with trying to attract what is a quote unquote high value man. First of all, I don't like that term. I hate that term. I hate it. I really do. Because most of the time when people say that, they're talking about men that make a certain amount of money, men that are somebody that I guess women all go for, whatever. Listen, nobody got time for that foolishness. It's just how I feel about it. If you happen to be dating someone who's making a certain amount of money, that's wonderful. That's great. But to me, in this day and time, that's high value doesn't necessarily equate with what I would call quality. Quality. Just because a man makes a certain amount of money does not mean anything. Doesn't mean he's going to value you. Doesn't mean he's going to treat you a certain way. So I don't get into that kind of foolishness. But I didn't want my ladies who might have seen that comment to feel like because they are in their 40s and 50s and beyond, to feel like they don't have anything of worth, or to feel like they are not beautiful, or to feel like they are not desirable. Yes, you are. You certainly are. You have value. I'm going to just tell you, in my 40s and 50s, I had no problem dating if that's what I wanted to do. But there was a period when I first began to feel like I was ready to get back out there, when I inwardly had the thought of who is going to want me now? Who is going to want me now? And the first person that I dated at that point wasn't probably the first person that I talked to, but this was the first person that I dated after my relationship had ended, and this was maybe about 3 years later or so. They were someone who was actually younger than me. I don't remember how much younger than me they were, but I was in my 40s, early 40s, maybe 43, and they might have been like 38, something like that. That wasn't intentional. I wasn't out there trying to be anybody's cougar or panther or any other animals. It just happened to be someone I had a conversation with, and we met, and that was that. But that was the first time, like, really dating after that. But in time, I met different people, talked to different people. And then I met someone that I really fell in love with. And he was someone who was a little bit older than me. And actually, that's the person I'm still dating right now. We kind of were on and off at different points, but that's the person who's in my life right now, and I've known him for about 5 or 6 years. And I'm saying this simply to say that you have to know who you are. That's the most important thing. Sorry. The most important thing. You have to know who you are. You have to know what you want. You have to know what you need. But don't think for a minute that because you are in your 40s or 50s, that no guy is going to be checking for you or trying to talk to you or wanting to talk to you. Yes, there are going to be guys who are going to want to talk to you, who are going to want to meet you or sleep with you and all these things. So you have to be just as guarded as you were when you were younger. But you are an attractive woman. You just have to feel that way about yourself inside and then present that outwardly. Yes, we get older. We get gray. you know, we might get wrinkles, we might fill out, or we might lose weight, or different things happen. But wherever you find yourself, you have to appreciate yourself for you. That's the first thing, because if you don't, if you go out there with low self esteem, if you go out on these sites or in these streets with low self esteem, they will eat you alive. You have to know who you are, you have to know your worth. And I always say, know that you're bad regardless. You might not be everybody's cup of tea, but there is somebody who's going to want you and who's going to value you. And you have to first value yourself and then wait for that person to come into your life. And when I say wait, I don't mean just sit in the house and wait and think it's going to magically happen. You do have to put yourself out there, you know? However, I was really offended that that person left that comment and said that, because I don't want any of my ladies thinking that your life is over. You're divorced and you're starting over now and there's nothing left for you. I can say in my 40s and 50s, I have never loved more passionately. I have never laughed more vigorously. I have never lived more openly, because I just didn't have those same fears and hang-ups about what other people want or think or expect. I know who I am. I know what I need and I know what I want. And I'm happy to say, people say Capricorns age in reverse. And I think what that means is that the older we become, the more relaxed we become, the more free spirited we become. And I can truly say that about me. When I was younger, in my 20s and 30s and stuff, I was definitely way more serious. Now I just love to laugh all the time. I love to have a good time. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I love being around people who make me laugh. I really only like being around people that I can just be myself with. If for whatever reason you seem like someone I cannot be my authentic self with, I don't even want to be in your presence, because it's not good for me. And yes, I can be reserved, I can be refined, I can be dignified. I'm always going to be those things. But there are times when you are with people and you can just tell they're not genuine, and I don't like being around people like that. I prefer to be around people who are real, even if they are flawed. I like people to be their authentic self. And so I just wanted to put this out there, and why I'm telling you ladies that you are beautiful, that you still have so much life left to live. And I took the attitude that there were so many things that I hadn't experienced, and I wanted to experience those things. And I think that also helped me to feel young and invigorated, because I kind of took myself out of that square box. I also want to thank the men. If you are a man and you are in your 40s and 50s and beyond, and you value women in their 40s and 50s, I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for being there for us. Thank you for seeing value in us, and for giving us the time that we deserve, and for giving us the love and appreciation that we deserve. And women, just make sure you're doing the same thing for these men who were in their 40s and 50s. There was a time when, I think when you're younger, you look for perfection in all of these different ways. There are things that when you're younger can easily turn you off about people, because you're young. You see someone, and it could be something as simple as a guy who's got a really hairy back, and that's just not attractive to you, you're turned off. Or like the episode of Fresh Prince when Hillary The guy who wanted to date her, and I think he was like a commentator, news commentator, and she would just find these things, and she was like focused on his Adam's apple, and somehow his Adam's apple just looked so huge to her, and it was turning her off. Those kinds of things. These are the things that, people do and see when they're young. Guys want this woman to have this, Coke bottle figure and stuff like that. As you get older, things change. It doesn't mean that there aren't men in their 40s and 50s or women who are in their 40s and 50s who still want that kind of perfection. Doesn't mean that. But I'm talking about the general the general population in these ages. You don't look at certain things. You've been through enough that you know how to value a man who is a good man. You should. You know how to value a woman who is a good woman. You should. Things change. As we grow, we learn to appreciate the fact that that person, I can count on them. Their word is their bond. When they say they're going to be there, they show up. You know, these are things that matter. But I just wanted to make sure that I put it out there and that I assured you, ladies, that you may be in your 40s and 50s and starting over, you still have value. You still have intrigue. You still have allure. You just have to know it. And that's all I want to say today. And I want to say thank you again to those men who find women in their 40s and 50s attractive. They're not looking to have babies with somebody who's in their 20s. They're not even looking to have a conversation with someone who's in their 20s. They want someone who identifies where they are, someone who knows about different, I don't know, different things that were happening when we were growing up and different things that we watched on TV. Like, who was my favorite? Ultraman. I know this is crazy, but the gentleman who's in my life, when we were talking and he knew who Ultraman was, I was impressed. I was impressed. He knew who Gumby was and the G&J boys. You know, these things that somebody in their 40s and 50s remembers, you know. The original Planet of the Apes. Hey, it's good conversation. It's good conversation. Anywho, I say all that to say, you know, I want you to live a happy life and a better life. And I just wanted to tell you that you're beautiful, you're strong, you're gifted, and I just want to say you're worthy. So have a great day today, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.